Hi, it's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and welcome to Bodyful Day 266. This is day one in our series on patience and the senses. And today we're talking about the vestibular system. So we're talking about how we can have and not have patience. Our goal is to, as always, use the healing equation. So, I've got a squirrely gray hair. Our goal is to have energy, to have patience equals good energy and minus stressors. And today we're going to talk about how the vestibular system has a little bit of interaction in that. But as always, I'm going to hijack the first day so that we can talk about the general concept of patience and how it ties into the healing equation. Before we do that, let's start with our basics. Take a deep breath in and release. Deep breath in. You're going to expand in the belly, expand in the chest, expand in the sinuses, and tuck your tail and release. And now you're going to think about your most recent disruption of patience, or what I call stupid people moments. When you're just like, man, that person has no clue. Why don't they do it the right way? I know how to do it the right way. They could have asked me. So go ahead and take a deep breath in and release. All right, so we're working off the healing equation. Remember, energy to heal equals good energy and minus stressors. And when we're working with patience, we're saying energy for patience, energy for increased patience equals good energy and minus stressors. And anything that topples that equation usually takes out patience first. Why is that? Why is that having a rough day at work, having work stressors, just totally fling your patience out the door? It's gone. Bye-bye. It is because patience requires a lot of work up here. It's not like eating, it's not like sleeping, it's not like cooking, it's not like doing basic things that you have already on record. So learned behaviors, rote behaviors, task, there's a psychological term for it. It's procedural. There we go. It's not procedural work. So even if you have had a terrible day at work, you can still come home and make the normal Monday meal. You can still do that. If you had to start a new recipe, that's where patience would come into play. But if you're making something that you've always made, you have that procedure in your head, and you could turn all other information off. You could have the worst possible day and you could still make it because it's already in the system. You already know what goes together, how it goes together, and how it gets out on the table. But if you've had a bad day at work, you have all of these stressors, and you need to make this new recipe, because there are fiddly bits that are different with this new recipe than you normally cook, you can't use the same old program. And the same thing comes up when we're working with patients. We can't use the same old program for patients because the situations that are presented to us that require our patience are almost always going to be the difference. So they could still be the same screaming child. They could still be, one kid asking for needing this. But it's going to be different because that type of patience requires you to go back and step out and say, okay, how can I approach this situation creatively? Or how can I even see their point of view, why they did that, and come back at it with a very patient, thoughtful approach. Patience is the ability to step out of yourself, take on somebody else's view and go, oh, you're not so stupid. Here's why you did that. I get it. Rather than going, you're an idiot, and moving on. So patience requires you to step out of your own procedures and use more energy to heal. Patience is an energy requiring task because you can't just do the same thing and grind away the same way. Imagine driving home from work after a really good day where you enjoyed it, it was awesome, and you got into a car accident. You would have the patience to look at this situation and go, oh, I see why that happened. This person was looking that way, or we both thought that we were both signaling and we didn't pause, and okay, but you know what, we're both fine, it's great, we're healthy, nobody got hurt. It's going to be some damage and it'll show up on my insurance, but that's okay. Now replace that with you after a real crappy day at work, and you're stressed and you're annoyed and you get in the exact same car accident. You are not going to have the capacity to take on that other person's viewpoint and interpret their actions from a very, yeah, you know what, that's actually what's going on, rather than a, you suck. So it's very hard. Patience requires a lot of energy to heal. And if you are already low because of a stressor, we talked about work stress, but it could be allergies, it could be no sleep, it could be a food sensitivity, it could be hives. Whatever you got going on, it could be emotional stress. Whatever you got going on, it will suck from your energy to heal, which will make your patience less. But here's the cool thing. This is why we know patience is really driven by the healing equation. Is that when you go on vacation, you have patience for days. You have patience for days. You have the ability to eat anything on vacation and not feel terrible, just about. So there is, when the stress is gone, patience increases. You want to play with your kids more and run in the sand and get things dirty and totally be happy about it, because you can say, I'm going to screw the procedure because I have all this extra energy and I can go whichever direction I want. But when you have more stressors and your energy for patience is decreased, you cannot deviate from the plan, or else you get really out of control. So I say vacation is typically a time when people can actually do this, but if you're one of those vacation people that has to see all of the things all the time and you have everything back, you have everything cataloged to the minute, okay, we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here, we're going to go here, and if anything gets off track, you're in trouble, then vacation isn't a good example for you. Maybe a day when you just get to sit and read or pamper yourself, that might work too. But either way, when you don't have to worry about the outcome, or you are unhooked from the emotional component of the day, you have a lot more patience. When you're trying to control less, or when you've decided that you want to step outside a little bit and you have more energy, you can do patience. So that's the general concept behind patience. And so during this series, we're going to look at things that stress patients and sensory input that stresses patients, and sensory input that can actually increase patience by, of course, providing good energy in. So I am not necessarily sure I have a vestibular good energy in, but I have a very good example of vestibular stressor. So I don't know if you have been to the Rocky Mountains, but in Rocky Mountain National Park, there is this lovely, lovely, narrow, steep road called Trail Ridge Road, where at some point in time, there is like this much room. It seems like it's this much. It's probably more. It's probably more like this much, but it seems like there's this much room before the edge of your tire and falling off the cliff. And being someone who is vestibularly challenged, me stepping on a ledge, actually the top down signals dizziness in my semicircular canals, and I actually feel like I'm going to fall if I am up at heights. And so again, notice I said top down. The bottom up is giving me the same information, but my brain is manipulating those signals so that I get dizzy. That's a vestibular component. So driving on that trail, and we have driven it multiple times because we like to go to the Rocky Mountains, and driving on that trail causes me to have zero patience. I hold onto the dashboard. I'm not the one driving, so I hold on to the side door because I'm the one that's on the edge. And I am very annoyed at any bit of noise because my vestibular stressor is shattered. So, is there a way to add vestibular good energy in that helps with patience? Yes, there is. The spinny chair, rocking back and forth. Rocking actually is a great way of restoring good energy in and using the vestibular system to do that because it is calming, because it is soothing. Spinning. Kids spin all the time for soothing. Adults probably should too. Kids spin, we rock. But there is definitely a soothing component to that vestibular system. And after you rock for a while, it's as if you've sort of numbed yourself back and gone to the good side. And now you can deal with lots of noise and people not following directions and car accidents or whatever. So the vestibular system, because it does provide a very significant neurologically calming component, if you find the right form, does increase your patience. But if you're afraid of heights and it causes things to all wig out, it doesn't do a lot for patience. All right, let's finish this off. Take a deep breath in and release. Join me back here tomorrow where we'll cover more about patience and the senses. See you later.